Hey guys, and welcome to Lewi Productions. And today, I guess we're doing part 2, or episode 2, or whatever you want to call it, of the Fox rebuild, the Fox restoration. Well, it's a kind of restoration because it's getting restored, but it's not getting like the super van restoration where everything was done. This is getting a complete rebuild, basically underbody. The body of the Fox is going to be completely original. There's a little repair I've got to do to it, but we'll cover that in a later video. Pardon me. So, I've done one thing before we started this. I've got the new leaf springs on the chassis, and the axle all painted and reattached. So that brings us on to the little job I'm going to do tonight. And yes, I have got this right, tonight. Because, well, I'll let you know. Obviously, I have how many left coming up in the next 8th of May it is. And at the moment I'm down to 9 vehicles. The Robin van won't be there, unfortunately. There's just too much needs done to it, and I do not have the time to be able to do it. But the good news is the 9 of our vehicles will be going. So one of those vehicles is my 1981 Robin Estate, which is the first Reliant I ever got. Unfortunately, because it's not the cleanest compared to all the rest of them, it tends to not go out often. And because it's not been MOT exempt until, well, it was MOT exempt last year, but it wasn't tax exempt this year, and I just thought, oh well, I've got plenty of our Reliance, I won't bother taxing it until it's exempt. Yeah. During the time it's been sitting, a few things went wrong. So some of the fuel lines perished, so I had to change them. After I changed the fuel lines, I thought, that's everything done. I found out that the exhaust was also rotten, so I had to change it. Then when I thought that was everything, I went and took it a drive and realised the brakes were not working either, which turned out to be a leaky front wheel cylinder. Yeah. So that was my whole day doing that, instead of what I had been hoping would be doing this video earlier on. So this is now the evening, and what I'm going to do is I'm just giving this a clean, because just before we came on I gave the ends of these a flap disc clean because they were quite heavily corroded, and I just wanted to get them looking a lot better than what they were. So what I'm going to do is we'll put the oil seals in first. Now, I'm sure some of you are going to probably say I'm doing this wrong anyway, but oh well. We'll see how it goes. So I've oiled the opening for the oil seal. I'm also oiling the oil seal itself. We get it placed into position. Crikey, that's the first time that's ever happened. It's just went in no problem. Now, luckily enough, this hammer is actually, the flattened copper bit is the exact size of the oil seal, so you can actually do that with it. Crikey, that's the best oil seal I've fitted in a long time. I've got to say, this is, in case anyone is curious where I get the parts from for these lovely little Reliants, these parts have came from CHG Classics, who specialise in Reliant. Anything you need Reliant, I can guarantee they'll have it. And I can guarantee it will fit. Unlike some of the other parts I've bought in the past that tend to not fit. Before I realised I should just buy some from someone that's a specialist for parts. So yeah, that was quite easy, so that's one done. That means I have to get the bearing onto here. We've also to work out which one's this one. So this is the one I'm wanting, the driver's side. Because I've been a bit fussy, and to make sure that they actually go together, like they should, I have marked up driver's side and passenger side. So that's another, ooh, there's a hole in it. I didn't notice that. I will clean this up and see if it's any use. There's 2 holes, 3 holes, oh, it's probably rotten. I need back plates. Yeah, okay, I'll need to get a pair of back plates for the Fox. It's slightly rotten. I was thinking I'd be able to clean them up, but I didn't realise there was holes in them. Main reason I haven't realised there's holes in them is because the bits that have the holes are folded over. That's a shame. Anyway, we'll deal with that later. First thing, I'm going to go and fit the bearing into this, which will require some gentle persuasion. And then I'll bring his back when we'll fit this, which is the easy bit. But then, I thought it was going to be more troublesome than this, but yeah. The way I'm going to put this bearing on, by the way, in case you are curious, I'm not going to film it because it's probably going to be a lot longer than I expect, or quick like this has ended up being. What I'm going to do is sit the bearing on as far as it'll go. I'll give this all a clean first as well, but slip the bearing onto there, turn it upside down, and I put it in a vise for the jaws are not gripping the half shaft, but just the right size so it'll move like that. Keeps the weight, it can freely move through. Then I'll be using the dead weight mallet, which is rubber, to tap the bearing, hopefully, onto the shaft. I do know you can do this other methods where you can put the bearing in boiling water, which expands the metal, and it just falls on. Quite honestly, I don't want to put water in a wheel bearing, so I'm going to do it my way. Because you're not damaging the bearing, because the bit that you're hitting off the vise is actually the centre piece of the bearing, and it, well, I say centrepiece, it's actually sitting on the centrepiece as well as the outside one. It, you know, with the jaws sitting like that, you've got a grip of both bits, so you're not doing any damage. But I'm going to go and fit this, and I'll bring these back to put the last bit on, and then we'll see what happens next. Guys, so that's the bearing on, turning perfect. So next thing I'm going to do is get rid of this tape I've got on telling me which prop shaft was, or which half shaft was which. So we'll take that off. I'm going to put a bit of oil on the spline at this end, and basically in the shaft locate the, this is the fun bit, locate it into the diff like that. There we go. Then we need the dead weight hammer again, and this is just basically going to fit the bearing into here, and that's it. So like that. That's actually one of the better ones I've done in a long time. Usually these are a absolute pain to do, and I mean pain as a real pain. So we'll just put that on loose. We don't want that on yet permanently, otherwise we have to take everything off again to get the blooming thing to bits. So I'll do for the moment, and we'll need to put this on the parts list. It's a good thing I know I can get them brand new. Anyway, I'll move on and do the other side exactly the same as this. So I don't think there's any point filming that side because it's not good access. Really not good access. But the video is not ending there. For you see, there's a few other bits of news I can tell you, being Fox related as well. So one of them's just sitting right here, which is the lovely powder coated steel wheels. So these are ready to get tyres fitted to them, which will then go on of there and look the part and make this a rolling chassis once I do the front end, which will be another episode. But I can't wait to see this all in one piece. I've never actually seen a Fox in one piece, so, well no, that's a lie actually. I have seen a Fox in one piece. I've seen Hobnut's Fox at the NEC because his Fox-An was on the same stand as the Supervan was while I was on the live stage all weekend. So yeah, but I have seen it. surprisingly. I'm just looking. Oh, there's the bolt. I was wondering if I put a bolt and I just seen it's in the shocker, not into the chassis. That's okay though. We'll just leave that there. So yeah, I have seen a Fox complete, but I think these look ace. I really like the powder coat finish on them as well. So yeah, we've got them back, but that's not all the news. That's behind me is the two doors that we do have, which was the driver's door and the top half of the boot back rear end bit. But at the other side of the chassis, just out of shot, which I'll put a few photos in after the video, is the passenger door, the rear lower door, and really all this stuff next to me, the blue tub, and there's a load of boxes, is all the missing bits for the Fox. The only bit we have not been able to find was the new wheels and tyres that this had originally. That's why I've now got new shiny powder coated ones that I bought and got them powder coated. So yeah, there is progress happening. So it's all exciting. But yeah, it's another thing ticked off the list. So we've now got a basically complete Fox. The engine will be getting rebuilt. It looks nice and shiny, but its insides are not as shiny as they should be. Or how the best way to put that is. Slightly worn out, we'll say. I've had a slight nosy into it just to have a look and see what it was like, and it wasn't pretty. So yeah, that's on the to-do list now. Apart from that, everything else is kind of up to date on the Fox. So yeah, it just means I can go and do the other side now and then crack on with the rest of the jobs for it. A little bit of dirty rust on the chassis. Doesn't even belong to it. But yeah, so that's basically the plan, guys. I've gotten nearly everything I need to build the Fox up. And I hung the exhaust on the chassis today just to see how it looks, and I think it's awesome, the fact that it goes right to the back, then turns around and goes out the side. I mean, it does seem a typical Reliant thing to do that. But it's ace. So, really that comes to the end of this video. But, before we end the video, I will remind you again about how many left at the Grampian Transport Museum. For I will be there, with the help of the Scottish car addicts, who will be driving all my Reliants for me. Well, I'll be in the Scammell. But yeah, there will be 9 of the collection there. So if you do want to see some of these Reliant vehicles, shall we call it, and the Scammell, we can't forget the Scammell, then come along to that event and you'll get to see all the fleet lined up for probably the first time I've had 9 Reliants out at once. I don't even think I've had 9 Reliants out on display here. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be terrifying, mainly because I will hope everything behaves itself, but it's going to be so great seeing a whole lineup of Reliants. That to me is just fantastic. But anyway guys, I'm going to go and crack on, get the other side done, and then head in and chill out, because it's been a long day. But I'll give you some photos of what I've been doing earlier today as well, and I'll put on the photos of, there was something else I was going to do. The photos of the bits that I got as well, that was what it was. And itchy nose. I don't want to wipe my nose with my hands because they're a bit oily, and I don't want that classic black mark right across my face where I've put some dirty oil over it. But anyway, I'm going to go and crack on, and we'll see you next time for the next episode of the Reliant Fox restoration. Or will it be the Fox, or will it be something else next? That needs to make progress, so that's on my list to do as well. But we can't get that out till this is rolling. So it'll probably be another one of the Fox next. But we'll see. Anyway, we'll see you next time guys, and if you haven't already, remember to subscribe to the channel. If you like the videos, give them a like, drop anything you want to say in the comments, I'll try to get back to you with any questions or anything that you've asked me. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the next job goes anyway. Right, next on my list is to go to that side, and yeah, once it gets straightened up. Oh well, see you next time. Well, till next time guys, I guess, we'll see you again.